Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attacker Productions. Today I bankrupt you once again by Nick and Fluff.
Howdy, howdy.
What's up, people? I'm playing Jank today.
Today's matchup is Fluff versus Nash. Nash couldn't join us today. Nash is playing Gamma 1 and 2, so we got Nick here who has more experience than I do with playing the deck, and we got Fluff playing a different take on Spaceship, as you've already heard. He's playing Jank. There's buttons down below. Feel free to click them there for a reason. Fluff, you want to talk about your build then?
Yeah, so the general concept behind this deck, and I didn't get a chance to test this at all. The general concept was to utilize Chain Attack Trunks and throw out Zeno the Plain God. So Chain Attack Zeno inside GT. The biggest problem came from the fact that
You played against Gamma?
I played against Gamma. And at any point in time, either my opponent had less than 5 cards in hand, or we had equal cards in hand, and I wasn't able to put pressure on the field like I wanted to, so it never made sense to chain attack.
So what do your ratios look like with the Spaceship Crew?
So I run 4 of the 1-drop Goku, I run 4 of the 3-drop, 3 of the 4-drop, 4 of the 3-drop Trunks. And I think that might be it.
Okay. So like
and then 4 Pan.
Okay.
The Adventures Advent.
Yeah, I mean it seems like the standard ratios. I don't see any difference there. How successful were you with Chain Attack Bardock Trumps?
Didn't cast him all night.
Well, that's jank for you.
And in this particular match, one of the problems that I got is my hand is nothing but super combos and Chain Attack Trunks.
Hmm.
And Vegeta Resolve Renewed. Those are like the 3 cards that I saw throughout the entirety of the game. And it came down to a point where I was like, okay, I either have to put up a Chain Attack Trunks, a Super Combo, or a Vegeta Resolve Renewed. And I ended up choosing the Resolve Renewed because I wanted to resolve Chain Attack Trunks in this game. And I should have probably chosen the Chain Attack Trunks.
Yeah. And looking at Nash's playing the 1-drop Searcher, a lot of people will run that if they're not running the Android 17 and 18 Unison specifically. I haven't had a chance to look at his list. Do you know what Unison package he was running?
Hit.
So he's running Hit and Boo.
Okay. Which that makes sense. Because the other one would grab the Android 17, 18 specifically. So, and I was running a build with the Hit Unison prior to my current build. And I like that Unison. Because you do run some arrivals. It's a pretty small package, but you do run them. So you do get a chance to add markers that way. And just having that supplemental 1+ draw every turn is really nice, especially with Gamma.
Yeah.
Not drawing until the end of the turn.
Yeah. I don't have the quality of card in my hand is not strong enough for me to generate a ton of pressure this turn. So at this point, I'm trying to just resolve effects to draw to try to get into cards that are going to be good and trying to just resolve where I can. Especially before he has some form of disruption. Like I wanted to go ahead and board the Pan. I don't think Gamma has a ton of removal in and of itself, but I know it has a ton of disruption, especially once it starts getting into the essentially ending the turn with 3 active energy open phase.
Yeah, the biggest disruption as far as board removal it has is that Android 17, 18 SR dual attacker that's in his energy. That'll bottom deck any battle card greater than or equal to the opponent's energy. The Cell, which is the board wipe, and then most decks run 2, maybe 3 copies of Realm of Gods Beerus Destroys. That way they can blow up a big target on their turn or hit a weenie like a 2-drop or less on the opponent's turn. So its removal is decent enough to where it can spot remove pretty easily. But if you don't see the right piece in the right turn, generally battle cards are going to stick.
So I have a quick question, and I haven't played Spaceship a lot either. I know there's a pan, it might be this one here, that can play a Goku and a Trunks from underneath your Unison.
The pan that's on field.
Okay, is that a cost by any chance to do that?
It costs 2.
Oh, it costs 2. Okay. So it's pretty much a turn 3 play if you wanted to maximize it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and a lot of the cards that play under Spaceship are 1 red anyway, so it's essentially doing the same thing.
Yeah. Something happened. All right.
But you can go into stuff like Chain Attack Trunks off of it. So, can you? No, it's a 20k. Never mind.
You can grab intensifying power Trunks off of it.
Yeah, there are some smaller Goku and Trunks pieces you can grab, but it's the same exchange essentially.
Here, I didn't have a better target to choose than to go for the 1-drop Goku. I didn't have another battle on Planet M2 ready to go. So I'm just kind of taking what I can get and hoping that this sets me up for future plays. And I believe I'm pretty disappointed about this top 3 Scry once he decides if he wants to let it go.
So was that Goku a piece you were looking for?
Yeah, I did find it. It's just if I'm mistaken, maybe I don't have a way to get it under the Unison this turn, so I'm not able to play it out. Oh, no, there it is. But he beamed on his leader, so I'm going to have to sacrifice a card on hand to get it out. And then I believe maybe he responds here. No, I'm thinking wrong turn.
So instead of wasting resources, you just kind of hit the Unison a little bit.
I hit the Unison, yeah. I'm trying to keep him off of doing the -3 once I'm awakened. But he's not focusing on my leader at all. He's really playing resource management over the course of this game, trying to keep my field leveled. He pretty much knows that if he can handle the field a few times, I'm going to gas out in my hand. And he really does a great job of playing that out over the course of this game.
Yeah, because that's one of the things about GT is you do get a lot of filter from the deck, but just straight up inherent draw power, it's kind of lacking.
And I have to try to defend this Goku, but he just keeps putting swings into that Goku, and eventually I have to stop committing cards in hand to that Goku and just let it go. Especially once he puts this dual attacker on the field and just bottom decks it. So it feels kind of bad.
Yeah. And that's one of the inherent powers of Gamma is you don't really care about your Unison and leader swing since they don't inherently give you value on swing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just let those go and let the opponent waste their resources just to stop the swings.
Yeah.
I would like to be interested in seeing what ratios he's running for androids. I know a lot of times with my builds with Gamma, it's few and far between, but it does happen where you charge the wrong card from the top of your deck. You can see that from time to time, and it feels rough, especially on your turn 3. Turn 3 is kind of tricky with Gamma because you don't want to hit a non-android and then you're just stuck with nothing.
Yep. Yep.
But that's the beauty of the fixer cards like Android 17 and Android 18. But you still have that chance to whiff, and RNG sucks from time to time.
And you see he puts the android turning the tide into his energy. So I know now that I'm on a clock. Regardless of what happens the rest of the match, I'm on a clock.
Yeah. Essentially, that card is what you were trying to do to him with your strategy.
Right. And I don't know if he's anticipating the chain attack Sinnoh, but he keeps that Android 17 in his energy from this point on.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a safe spot where nothing can touch it.
I did see that he has the Android 18 counterplay in his hand.
Yeah.
So at this point, any of your little guys that you want to go into are pretty much dead on arrival.
And if you look at what's under my Unison, the ability to play things out from under the Unison is just not very big. Here, I believe he ends up countering with Dirty Burst.
Yeah, I remember walking it over at this point.
And I do correct that he has to tap 2 for Dirty Burst.
Yeah. It's 1 for the counterplay, 2 for the counterplay, 1 for the counterattack.
This SSB Surprise Attack Vegeta is actually really good in the list, especially with that Pan and the Goku trio.
Yeah, because it's Spirit Boost in order to
play it for free. And it's just a 15 crit.
Yeah.
So that is definitely going to be an addition that stays, even when I go back and I stop running the janky chain attack Zeno package, this will stay as a mainstay in the deck at probably a 2 of, because anytime I saw it, I resolved it.
Yeah, you didn't play that in your original build, did you?
I did not.
Yeah. I was saying, we heard that your actual build.
My actual build, yeah.
Yeah, this was his fake list, guys. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah. Don't expect a profile on this list, because I'm not going to give it to you.
But yeah, even your leader has the Spirit Boost 10, so like you'll always have a spot to play that card. Damn, counterplay galore.
I have to establish pressure on the field. It's the only way that I get the upper hand in this match, especially while he's tapped out. And my ability to do so is just very sparse. So I have to kind of take advantage of it where I can. And if that means, being a little aggressive with Merciless Barrage Yamcha, then that's what I've got to do.
Yeah.
I do go on ahead and commit to the Piccolo early, just to tick markers off of his Unison. I didn't think that I'd get into his life, but I didn't want that Unison resolving the -3. Because I wasn't even thinking about what he does here. If I realized that he was going to do this here, I probably would not have committed that Piccolo in that way. And this is just, it's one of the many mistakes that I made over the course of the game, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about.
Out of curiosity, even if you were to minus the 3, if I recall, for this leader, that's, unless you're short on Saiyans that you want to put under your Unison, that's actually not a bad effect, I think.
It's not, but the Saiyans that are in my hand are like super combos.
Yeah.
And chain attack Trunks, which I want to resolve.
Yeah. And I see you've already unfortunately had to get rid of the Vegetas already.
Yeah. But he puts the Boo out, and this Boo is pretty much just the nail in the coffin. We are a little short on the game actually ending, but this Boo basically says don't use your 8-drop, and any battle card that you commit to the field is potentially just getting out of the way, plus I've got a big body blocker. And now I have to contend with 4 active mode energy per turn.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Zeno, Exceed your hand, does not hit Unisons. It's just battle area.
Yeah. So you'll see that I don't know if it's this turn or next turn, I end up having a solution for the Unison. It's kind of a desperation move, but it is what it is. He just keeps putting me under this card particularly, and I don't want to discard any of the cards in my hand.
Yeah, if you don't have an answer to that Floodgate, it's huge. Just bye-bye hand, essentially.
Yeah, which is what happened. I mean,
yeah. And throwing cards to the bottom of the deck is, I would say, probably one of the best forms of removal.
For sure.
Because with a lot of decks, they can interact with their drops and warps, but like this deck in particular, you can't touch your deck unless you draw it. So
Yeah, this is. I don't want to say my hand was terrible, but it was not optimal versus what if I were to play Gamma, these are the cards that I would want to have in my hand at any point in the game. And it just seems like it felt like every time that I had a statement, he had a response.
Yeah, but that's what the deck likes to do, though. Not do much, or you can do it. Can overextend as much as it wants to, and then get 3 for your defensive turns. And with your draw engines, like in this case, his hit and boo unisons, he's going to have a healthy hand no matter what stage of the game he's in.
Yeah.
You sitting on 21 markers, I think, for your Unison.
Yeah, the Unison's sitting on 21 markers. I just don't have anything to do with them, especially with that boo sitting on the field.
If only there was a counter attack that would work.
If only.
Yeah, and Cell be a good one. Unfortunately, it's gonna blow your board up.
Yeah.
And we do. I think it's bottom deck, and you fix it in a second.
It is bottom deck, yeah. Yeah, when he played it, he was like, yeah, it blows the field up. So I just put him in the drop area, and then he corrected that it was drop area.
Oh, wait, that card.
So I remember asking you about it afterwards. I just don't remember what the answer was. Because the way it's worded, you could have, if you wanted to, pulled more markers off to pop the other battle card as well.
I could have pulled enough to take a marker off of his Unison as well.
Yeah.
The honest answer is that I'm tilted, and I know the game is over.
Gotcha.
I don't see a situation that I recover respectably, short of him just not having anything in his hand. Like, the whole idea behind this GT deck is to pressure with crit strikes, keep your opponent from amassing a giant hand, and despite that, he's kept a giant hand this entire match. And he has kept my hand diminished. And just with all of that kind of in tandem, I know there's really no climb back out for me. Like, you'll see in my next turn, which is when I make the desperation play, that I'm really just doing what I have to do to try to survive. I'm playing the back foot this entire game instead of playing the forward foot that aggro wants to play.
And it doesn't help that he pretty much restands 4 energy at the end of every turn.
Yeah. So I'm pretty much guaranteed playing against an 8-team counterplay, and I'm playing against a, what is that, Android 15?
It's 15 or 14, I can't remember.
Yeah.
That is going to floodgate me out, so.
Only there was a counterplay for that.
That I had to put under my Unison, jackass. Thank you for that. I'm aware of the situation that we're in.
Yeah, but the viewers at home might not.
No, it's not. The audio wasn't from that night, but I do remember you had mentioned, like, I didn't mean to put that card there. Like, after you had done swung, I think, with the front leader or done an effect, and he's like, "Yeah, you can switch it back. It's fine." And then, like, I think a turn later, you're like, "I have to. Like, there's no other choice.
Yeah,
I have to."
I had to. It was the only saying that wasn't a super combo in my hand.
Yeah, and unfortunately, having to play the secret rare just immediately pop it is just,
yeah, not good. Not the situation that you want to be in. And I'm hoping that he doesn't have a boo. I somehow survived this next. And he just immediately in his turn just goes, yep, here's another boo. And at that point, I want to scoop, but because we're on camera, I play it out.
Yeah, that boo unison is the bane of red. Like, red has almost no ways of dealing with it, and it just it can shut down any red deck.
Yeah.
Fell many a times that unison not feel good. Feel the pain.
Yeah, this Unison puts in a ton of work in this matchup, and
Especially
nearly single-handedly wins the game. I mean, it takes the game from being a possible back and forth. And I'm just talking to him, and I'm like, the smart thing to do here is to just combo your entire hand out. I was like, you either one, kill me, or you make me waste every card in my hand, and I have no way to crack back and kill you next turn because you're protected by Boo. And he was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and he kept 2 cards just in case.
Yeah.
You couldn't
He did
comp
not
out this.
trust.
Well, no, it's a hatch. So
Yeah.
He kept a hatch. I mean,
so yep. It happens. You try to have some fun, and unfortunately it doesn't work out all the time.
yeah, when you try to play a fun deck, you get paired against Gamma round 1.
This sounds
It's fucking
like
shame.
almost every weekend I go to the shop. With that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Keep in mind, there's buttons down below and on the screen while Fluff does the outro.
Yep. Congrats to Nash on winning that one. He definitely earned it. But as always, read your cards, know your plays. Let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to, and Fluff out.